Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. I'm here today with day number 19 of Junk Journal January, and it is hand lettered. So this one I think is probably going to cause many people to be a little stressed out, because I think a lot of us just don't like our handwriting, or we worry about not being able to do calligraphy or what have you. I'm just going to kind of take it easy and do something a little bit fun. You might also be wondering, what should I write? What should I, try to do? Unless you're doing some journaling, then I think that makes this whole thing a little bit easier. What I'm going to do today though, is something that I've been doing in my homeschool program with my daughter, and it's about writing a senses poem or a senses verse. So you use the 5 senses, and basically either in a situation or as inspired by a piece of art like I'm going to do today, or when you're taking a walk, you just think about the 5 senses. And you write a little verse for each one. You can rhyme it. You don't have to rhyme it. You can turn this into some kind of a exercise in learning as well for either an adult or a child. So what I want to do is open up this beautiful book, The Portrait of a Living Marsh. This is a really lovely book that I've sort of been tearing apart for a long time. It contains all sorts of nature photography and art. And it has animals, it has landscapes, it's just beautiful. And I've chosen today to use this beautiful long photo here, or not photo, but illustration. And I'm going to tear it loose from the book so that I can then just close the book and use the flat surface. So I want to go through the senses here, and I want to write myself some kind of a verse here, and then use this as a piece of ephemera in my journal. So this is a Robert Bateman painting from 1992. As you can see, there's like an old building here. We have a graveyard here and the woods in the back, and all of that resonates very much with me because I do lots of walking in graveyards that are surrounded by woods. It's like one of my favorite places to kind of hang around and just kind of have peace and quiet, and it's a great place to be. So that being said, I'm going to now just kind of look at this picture and think about how it makes me feel, and just write a little verse for each of the senses and just hand letter it on here. I'm not going to get super fancy. I'm just going to use my handwriting. And the one thing you may want to do, you may want to take a pencil and draw some lines to keep yourself straight. I'm going to wing it. We'll just see how it goes, okay? So what do I see here? And you want to try to be a little bit poetic if you can. Try to be a little bit romantic with yourself. Try to put yourself into the picture. Feel how that picture feels, because you might write something a little more inspiring. Another thing you could do is take a quote. Some of my favorite quotes are from the book Walden by Henry David Thoreau. So you could also just use a quote if you were more comfortable than doing a senses poem or senses verse. But I'm going to get started by saying, misty morning, gray skies. And I'm going to print somewhat. My handwriting these days is a strange mix of both writing and printing. I don't know why or how that's happened, but it just has. So I'm just going to embrace it. Also, I like to write on an angle, so I'm going to do that. So now we're at touch. So I think I want to say the cool, rough granite against my palm, because that resonates with me. When I'm on my walks, I'm often touching gravestones. Also, I like to write in lowercase. So, if anything, just kind of do what you want. And you can decide if you want to use grammar, like you want to use commas, you don't want to use commas. I think that's entirely up to you. I probably will go back over this a second time once I've written it all. So what do we hear? So I think, you know, the first thing I noticed is this magpie flying by in this scene. And I tend to love magpies. They're one of my favorite birds because they're just so, like, cheeky, and they talk a lot, and, you know, they're on a treasure hunt all the time. So I think I'll say so quiet, but for the cheeky magpie squawking as it searches. So quiet. Have to stop and think for a moment about how to spell squawking. It's been some time. I don't know if that ever happens to you. You sort of forget how to, like, spell a random word you've spelled a million times. So I think for smell, I just want to say the fresh smell of rain on the earth. And sometimes you can decide to just get rid of words that clutter your verses. I've recently been trying to do that for business reasons. I've been taking some writing for business courses. And then we want to talk about taste. So we'll say taste. The dewdrops and pine bursting from the trees. Okay. So this isn't something that I necessarily, you know, would be looking to sell or publish or anything, but it makes me happy, and I think it's something that I'd love to have in my own journal. It's my own writing. I think, you know, it will go nicely with your own writing in a journal that you're making, and I'm going to put this one in my journal, and hopefully you can have some fun with the idea of a census poem. So let's just review it all together. Misty morning, gray skies, the cool rough granite against my palm, so quiet but for the cheeky magpie squawking as it searches. Fresh smell of rain on the earth, taste the dewdrops and pine bursting from the trees. So I think, you know, you can write something special this way and just be inspired. So that's my little video for today. Nothing revolutionary, but hopefully I've given you a couple of ideas, and also hopefully I've made you feel like you don't have to be like a calligrapher. You don't have to be super fancy with your lettering, and you can still participate in doing hand lettering. Handwriting is one of the most personal and foundationally creative things that we do. I think it's part of our fingerprint as people, right? So anyhow, that's it for me for now. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you tomorrow for another day of Junk Journal January.